Avatar Aang versus Korra is not close, and I think most of us agree to that. I think most Avatar fans understand this as a fact, it's a reality, it's not close. But the only people that disagree seems to be the delusional Korra fans. These people, it's been so many years and they still have not learned. Korra is just not as good as you guys hype her up to be. You know, and one of the funny reasons why a lot of them, they back her so much is because, and this is so dumb, they think she's black. They think she's a black queen, a black girl boss. It's so stupid. How are these people this idiotic by accident, bro? There is no way this is an accident. Y'all gotta be this dumb on purpose. Anyway, so like I saw this video on Instagram and I really want to talk about it. Korra versus Aang really isn't close, and this guy sums it up perfectly.
So, Aang versus Korra, in a straight-up death battle, no pacifism, no holding back, at their peak, who is winning this fight? I could sit here and tell you who is better at which element, but that frankly would not matter. I am going to just tell you their strongest feats. Aang without the Avatar state created an air current so strong, it pushed back an explosion from a volcano and covered the radius of a mountain.
And this was without the Avatar state. Aang was a beast. Even though he's like a pacifist, dude was a literal master at the age of 12. Like, that is crazy. Korra has not done anything like that even with the Avatar state. Well, actually no, she has. But anyway.
Korra's strongest air feat with the Avatar state pushed back the giant mech. Mind you, she needed help to do this. Aang was also able to move faster than anyone we have ever seen in this series. And this was without the Avatar state. Korra's fastest feat was racing the airbending kids, and she used the Avatar state to win. Notice how so far Korra only matches with Aang while using the Avatar state. But what about when Aang uses the Avatar state instead? In the final fight with Atozy, a lot of you were just enjoying the fight. But if you pause in key moments, you realize what a monster Aang truly was. See these 5 beams of fire? Let's see them zoomed out. Now you can see how big they really.
Now, the thing about this though is you gotta remember he was being amped by the comet. So this isn't his normal amount of fire that he can produce. You know, his feats for airbending and waterbending are much higher without any amps, you know, so we gotta be fair here.
Including the fact that Aang took boulders, crushed them into smaller rocks. But here is what happened when he unleashed a few of these rocks. Mind you, these pillars of rock are not small, they are this big compared to a regular person. Also, Aang's strongest water feat created what looks like a mini tsunami. Again, no Avatar state, but when he did use the Avatar state, he raised the sea levels and brought them back down. Anyone that tells you Korra can survive a bloodlusted Aang is lying.
The thing is too, I really don't think Aang needs to even be bloodlusted. It really doesn't matter. And you know, and something else that really pisses off Korra fans is when you say this, like, this person commented and summed it up perfectly. They said, just a reminder that Aang did all of this at 12, with less than a year of training. Meanwhile, Korra is 21 with 16 years of training. And this is something, again, that really pisses off Korra fans, because even though she had way more training, she had way more masters, she had way more time, she's still by far weaker than Aang. How do you train for 16 years and still be this much cheeks, bro? Like, how is this possible? I really don't understand. This is such a shame. Anyway, so this person here says, tell Aang that Korra took Appa. She wouldn't even be alive long enough to blink. Jeez. I'm laughing too much. Aang would literally cook her, bro. He would 100% destroy her if he found out that she's the one that took Appa, you know. But anyway, this person here says, bro is a pacifist, but don't make him pass a fist across your face. Yo, these comments had me cracking up, man. The funny thing is, one of the main reasons Korra would never win against Aang and even some of his villains is because she's too hot-headed. She's way too brash and arrogant. That is her biggest flaw throughout the entire show, and they never really try to fix it. Every season she just gets more and more arrogant. It's like she doesn't learn anything. It's almost like you have someone like number 4 from Kids Next Door as the main characters. That guy just never learns, you know, and he's like dumb with it and only wins because of like dumb luck and stuff. Anyway, the point that I'm making too is if you look at this video here, you can see why Aang would beat Korra easily, because his entire fighting style counters her entire fighting style. Korra does fight more like Zuko than anybody else, and we know how Aang versus Zuko fights usually go. You know, Aang just dodges and then he lines him up and then blasts him away. It's pretty much the same way he fights for everybody. Right, and again, like Korra would 100% lose against these against Aang with his finessing skills, bro. Just look at how he's moving. He's just gliding across the floor. Yo, Aang is hilarious, man. Dude's dodging Azula and Zuko at the same time. I don't understand how Korra fans can still be so delusional, you know, in big 2025. Claiming that, you know, she's stronger than everyone else in the verse. Like, what are we talking about here? Y'all can't be, you know, glazing her so much. That is literally insane. Man, it's just crazy to me that people really overhype Korra to such lengths, and they don't realize it's also hurting the show whenever they do that, because this is one of the reasons why people do not like the show, because one, the show itself is not really well written, and then secondly, you got like the crazy fanboys who are out here willing to attack anyone that says any type of criticism about the show or anything like that, you know. So yeah, if you all agree with what I said in this video, like and subscribe. If you would like to become a character in my series, this series is also inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. All you gotta do is subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments that you would like to become a character, and I will actually make that happen. So it would be pretty cool if you have a character in the story that you can show to your friends and be like, hey yo, I got a character in this story that's inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now you gotta be 18 years and older, because I'm going with a much more mature story type or storytelling structure. I'm going for a dark fantasy type vibe. So if you are into that type of stuff, again, just let me know in the comments below. I would make that happen, right? And besides that, man, you all have a good rest of your day. Okay, later.